Hello, so in this tutorial, what I'm going to do is to use a gate on the snare instrument because when these drums were recorded, especially when it has to do with acoustic drums, sometimes there is bleedings in the whole um, track. So sometimes you could hear other instruments in the snare or other instruments in the kick. So how do you like solve this problem? One of the ways to solve this problem is using a gate plugin in order to, you know, stop other instrument coming through and then let the right signal go through. So let's listen to this snare and let's listen to how it sounds with the bleed of other instruments. So with the snare, we can hear the hi-hats in the snare. Now, we don't want that. So we want to get rid of the hi-hats and other instruments that gets into the snare. We only want the snare sound. So what we do is to insert a gate plugin. So in Cubase, there is a gate plugin in Cubase. So normally you use the threshold. The threshold. So the threshold is what allow and disallow certain sounds from coming through. Now, it's for you to start using plugins very quickly, if even if you don't understand, how to use them, you don't understand what the knobs and all that does. The right way to start using plugins is to start with the precepts because the precepts are being designed by industry experts and you can use that and then begin to play around that to get the desired sound that you want. So here, let's use a precept. Let's use a snare precept. So let's listen to the snare. Now let's begin to turn the threshold down. So I'm going to bypass it on and off and let's see what the gate plugin is doing to the snare drums. So here we can tell what the gate is doing to the snare drum. It's trying to stop the other instrument from coming through and letting the snare drum go through. So another thing that you can use is the release. So the release is a very good feature on this gate VST plugin. So I'm gonna turn the release up and down so you can hear what the release is doing to the snare drums. You see, faster release, the snare doesn't have any tail. It just plays and cuts very, very fast. That's not what we want. We want that natural tail, you know, in the snare. And you don't have to do it too much because too much of it, other instrument can come through. So just a little bit of it, it's always enough. Let's listen to it on and off. So this is how to solve bleed problems in your drums. So if you recorded in a home studio, you recorded your drums and there is so much bleed, just use the gate plugin. You can use it on anything. You can use it on the kick, the snare, and whatever you want to use it on. But most of the time, use it on the instruments, the drums, and don't overdo it too much because you don't want to squash all the transients from the instrument. You want to still keep that natural sound, and you don't want it to, you don't want the gate to take away that naturalness. So you don't do it too much, and then just a little bit of it to get rid of the other instrument in the track can go a long way.